Alright, so I'm at Galbraith Lake Campground. I actually put that sign up last week, so I'm pretty proud of it. Uh, see the view. Definitely one of my favorite portal signs I've ever put up. So I'm getting ready to go on a hike. I'm up north of the Brooks Range. I'm starting in the campground here, and then I'm going to head up. And the plan, kind of that way, I'm going to follow the creek as it goes up through the tundra and then around these mountains. And Gates of the Arctic National Park is just up on the other side there. So my plan is to spend the night in the Gates of the Arctic and then turn around and come back in the morning. So the Gates of the Arctic is one of the most remote, if not the most remote, national park in the United States. The only way into Gates of the Arctic is to walk or to take a plane. I think in the wintertime you can take a snowmobile, but mostly the only way in the wintertime you can ski and snowshoe, of course, but yeah, by foot. Primary mode, once you get in, yeah, that's kind of how you get around. So pretty excited. I've been wanting to come up here all summer. I've been pretty busy, so getting time to do hikes is kind of difficult, but I've got the time next couple days, and yeah, I'll record things that I think are interesting, and kind of put a video together. I don't usually video my hikes, but this one's pretty unique, so I'm gonna try to video it. We'll see how it goes. We'll see in a few. Alright, oh, gotta cross this creek. It's really cold. About halfway through. Whew. Oh. Alright, I gotta cross it kind of cliffed out on me. Had to cross. So kind of something I learned on the PCT is that it's kind of better to cross in your shoes rather than trying to go barefoot, because it's a little bit more dangerous and harder on your feet. So wet shoes is not optimal, but something else I learned is that I take my insoles out and my socks off and roll my pants up as much as I can, kind of minimize what gets wet, and then kind of wear the shoes until the sloshy water gets out of it and they dry up a little bit. Your feet warm up pretty fast when you're hiking, so once you get past the kind of sloshy part and kind of squish the water out of the shoes as much as you can, and then once they're just kind of damp, you can put your insoles back in and your socks back on, and then get your feet to warm up your shoes, and hopefully by the time you get to your next water crossing, your shoes will be nice and dry and you get them all wet all over again. But no, when you're hiking along a creek like this, it's kind of inevitable that you're gonna have to cross it a few times. Hopefully I don't. Looking at the map, it doesn't look like I have to cross it more than once, maybe twice total. But we'll see. This valley, and you can see in the distance it's going to open up, and then I'm going to stay. This hill over here is my handle, my handrail to keep me going to the river up here, and that river's in Gates of the Arctic. My goal is to get there. If I don't get there tonight to camp, I'll hike there in the morning and then hike back out. So yeah, right now I'm just kind of trying to hike to get the water out of my shoes, and I'll bring you back when it gets interesting again. So I'm here in the Brooks Range, going into Gates of the Arctic. There's not really any established trails. Like all day I've been following a pretty beaten path, obviously by people and animals, but it's not an established trail. But one of the things that you have to do is up here in Alaska, especially north of the Arctic Circle, is there's not really trails up here, so route finding is pretty important. So this is kind of a, not really a confluence because it's the same creek. It's just kind of splitting off here. So I could go down right here and cross the creek and go straight, because if you look, I'm actually gonna go kind of over here to the right, the direction I'm going. Or no, yeah, it looks like I'm going straight, because I'm following the creek. But so kind of the path of least resistance is kind of stay high here and kind of continue on that side, kind of hug that side. I started hugging on this side, but it cliffed out on me, and you can see that would be not fun hiking. So I crossed the creek back there. I've only had to cross it once, so hopefully I can stay on this side at least for a little while. Alright, so the valley's kind of opening up here. For the past few hours I was kind of hiking through kind of a canyon. Not tight, but a canyon. Then the creek's kind of split off and I'm following the smaller one. And then, so where I'm going is kind of straight down this valley here, and then this is, I don't know where I've come from. And so I've hiked about 3.5 miles, and I've been hiking for, let's see here, almost 4 hours. So it's pretty slow hiking. It's cross country, and terrain's, that's not really rough, but it's definitely not a groomed trail. Right now I'm hiking in a dry creek bed because if you look out there, it's kind of shrubby, and then over there, all that beautiful grass, that's tundra grass. So it's spongy. There's what they call tussocks kind of scattered in there. Tussocks are just kind of clumps of grass and moss, and they're not too bad here. Definitely hikeable. A couple weeks ago I hiked in some pretty bad ones that were like knee deep. Will break your knees. These will just kind of twist an ankle. But yeah, it's just how beautiful it is. So it's overcast. It hasn't rained, but I got my rain jacket on just in case, and then it also is it's working as like a windbreaker. It's a little windy, not too bad here in the valley, but when I was up high, it was definitely windy. As I say that, the wind just picked up. So, yeah, the temperature is probably 42 to 45 degrees. I don't have a thermometer with me, I'm just kind of guessing. semi-cool. My feet are wet, but they're drying out fairly quick. Did have to cross the creek again, but it's not too bad. And then, so it's late August, and as you can see behind me, the colors are already changing. So up here in the Arctic Tundra, fall comes pretty early. So this would be equivalent to like late September, early October, in like the Rocky Mountains, and probably the Sierra too. But up here it starts a little early. And the bugs, they're gone pretty much. It's too cold, which is why I didn't hike earlier in the season. Like June and early July is popular, but that's buggy season. But you can hike super late because it doesn't get dark. Now it's starting to get dark. It gets dark around 11 or so. I'm starting to get into Northern Lights season. It's not quite there yet, but you know, there's always a potential. But I don't expect to see them for another week or two. But if I see them tonight, that'd be great. I'm not counting on it. So my goal tonight is just to get to Gates of the Arctic. I'm about 2.5 miles away. Probably a little less. Just kind of on the map, looks like a nice little flat spot. Probably similar to what I'm hiking in right now. But if I have to, I'll hike back a little. I don't have high hopes of having a fire. It's not really that important anyways. My shoes being a little wet, it'd be kind of nice to have one. But as you can see, there's one kind of major that you need for a fire, and that's wood. So along the creeks, there's kind of washed up branches and stuff from these shrubs. So that's kind of what you got as far as firewood. So I'm not really counting on it, but we'll see. All right, that's it until next time I see something cool. All right, so a little bit less than a mile away from Gates of the Arctic National Park, where I plan to camp. But so the valley's really gotten kind of open and less boggy, so you could see a major difference here. Like kind of the hill that I'm on, it's more like moss on top of rock and a little bit of tundra grass. It's really stable and easy to walk on. But if you look down there, you can see how the grass is thick. I was walking down there and it's really mushy and stuff. So on my map is like a pond over there, and you can see it's kind of a pond. It looks like it gets real marshy kind of before you get there, and then that rock outcropping is kind of where the pond is. It's just kind of cool to see features that are on your map, see them in person, and see, you know, how well they're depicted on the map and stuff. But this is cool. I don't do a lot of cross-country hiking, so this is really neat to just kind of go with the terrain and not really be hindered by a trail. Not that trails are hindering, but they make hiking easier. But just to kind of go with the flow and kind of what feels natural. I've been following almost all day some type of trail, either human social trail or game trail. It just goes to show that, you know, animals will go to the path of least resistance and just kind of naturally be drawn. You can kind of see here a little bit of a trail. I mean, it's not super defined, but kind of stays low and goes in the transition zone here. Yeah, it's just really cool. All right, I'll give you an update in a little bit. All right, so I'm real close, less than a quarter mile from the gates of the Arctic. So gates of the Arctic, you can see it from here. Just on the other side of this water feature. On the map it looks like a pond, and on the map it's really small. Like this main water area here, straight in front of me, that's all that shows up on the map. But as you can see, this whole area is pretty bogged out. Over here we got this really neat little stream kind of flowing. So it's flowing that direction. I'm assuming it's flowing towards, well, it's obviously flowing towards that lake pond. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going to camp. I'm going to get into the national park and then go from there. Kind of figure out where the best place to camp is. I may push a little bit further in. This valley feeds into another one. There's a river. I don't remember the name of the river off the top of my head, but I'll look on the map and remind myself the name of it. But so I may hike to kind of where the confluence of this creek is and where this valley turns into that next big one. That's really my ultimate goal, is to get there and then turn around and come back tomorrow. So if I get there tonight, that's less hiking I have to do tomorrow. But yeah, so I'll bring you back when I get to the gates of the Arctic. This is the official imaginary line that borders Gates of the Arctic National Park on this side and BLM land, Bureau of Land Management land, on this side. So it's kind of cool just standing here on the border and just see kind of both directions. Like nothing significantly really changes, not in this spot anyways. So you can see that little kind of hump there is kind of like a pass. I expect the terrain to change a little bit, but still very much Tundra Valley. So all right, so I'm gonna walk a little ways into the park, kind of figure out where I want to stay tonight. So I could be going, you know, half a mile, or I could be going another mile, but we'll see. Alright, so I just ran into two guys that were hiking towards me, hiking back to where direction I came from. They did a loop, which after talking to them, I don't know, it sounds kind of interesting. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. I might hike the loop. It's a little bit longer, but it goes back the same way. It's just it goes around the other side of this mountain, so pretty much the same direction as this one. They said the terrain was the same. The terrain's not bad. It's for cross-country tundra. It's pretty forgiving. It changes a lot, but yeah, it hasn't been bad all day. Better than I expected. So they told me that once I get out of this pass coming down this creek bed and this it's kind of, it's not really a canyon, but it's definitely more narrow than the valley back there. So I'm coming down. They said that it opens up because there's a river down there, and the river valley opens up. And there's tons of awesome camping down there. So that's kind of been my goal all day, is to get there. I wasn't sure how long I was going to take going cross country, so I was being optimistic. I thought maybe I'd have to camp right at the gates of the Arctic, right there at the border. It wasn't great camping there anyways, but it was just a mile further, and I'm starting to see it now, and they were not wrong. Look at that. Look how it opens up, how pretty it is. So once I get down there, I'll find a place, get some food. I'm pretty hungry. Talk to you later. We'll catch you up. All right, so I made it to the river valley, and man, it's amazing. Like, it's just open and view for miles, like kind of breathtaking actually. But so I'll go ahead and give you a view of it. Alright, yeah, look at that. This is the direction I came from, in between those two mountains there, through that valley. So I'm either gonna go back that way, or I'm gonna go back around this way. So it looks like I'll have to look at the map to make sure, but it looks like my exit would be between those two mountains, so right there. But I'll look at a map. Let's see what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Right now I'm making my way down to the river. See if I can find a nice place to camp. So the guys I talked to, they said that they haven't seen any wild animals all day, which is not surprising because I haven't either. Except they did see muskox on the other side, so that's cool. That is one thing that kind of has me leaning towards going that way tomorrow. It is probably about, I don't know, 2 miles longer, but the chance potentially to see muskox would be cool. And I'll have more time to hike tomorrow because I can start off earlier. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how I feel in the morning. Alright, I'm gonna go find a campsite. Alright, so this is the campsite I chose. It's got a really nice backdrop. It's semi-level. It's not completely level, but you know, you do what you can do. So I picked this spot because it's got this little stream. So I got water right here, and then it's really close to the river, so I can see the river, and I have water here. So I looked for sites down by the river, but you can see all the shrubs and stuff down there, and that's really rocky. Not really great places for camping. So I looked at this spot just right here in front of me, and then I saw this little covey down here. It's a nice little windbreak. So over there it is windy, and then here is not windy at all, which also means there's a few bugs, but not too bad. So yeah, this is the site for the night. I'm getting ready to make dinner. Got my little table and chair set up. Carry a beer can. It's grizzly country. Normally I don't really worry about a bear can. I carry a bear bag, but I carry a year sack, but in Colorado, but this is grizzly country, so I don't think you're gonna cut it here. I have no issues carrying a bear can in grizzly country. I've also got bear spray with me just in case, because again, it's grizzly country. I don't carry it in black bear country, but grizzly bear country, oh yeah, I'm gonna have bear spray. Yeah, so I'm gonna set up and have dinner, and yeah, I knocked around the idea of having a fire, and I decided that it's not really appropriate here, for several reasons, but mostly because there's just nothing to burn. And then, you know, I don't want to do a burn scar. And I am in the national park, so I'm not 100% sure what the rules are, but I don't think that they're not usually allowed. But so I'll skip it. I do have my little candle, little citronella candle, help keep the bugs down, and it's a little bit of a fire, a flame. They're not super heavy. Like, in the height of the summer, you can't go camping in Alaska without some kind of bug deterrent. All right, and this view, it's beautiful. So I hiked quite a ways down, so at this point I'm just as close, if not closer, to that. See that pass right there? I'm closer to that exit now, so I'll probably go out that way. I'll just have a different view. Loops are better. That way you're not seeing the same thing just the other way. So that's the way I'm leaning. I'm glad I ran into those guys, because I hadn't planned on doing that. I didn't even really think about it. I did plan on, I did throw around the idea of going that way initially, coming this way, and then running into those guys. I think they kind of maybe talked me into going that way. I'll look at the map tonight, see how much longer it is. If it's not much longer, you know, I think I'll go that way. Comes out the same place, so. All right. One more shot of the camp, and yeah, make my dinner and then come back. All right, so this is dinner night, and just boil the water and let it cook. So this is a peak refuel. I've had a few of them. These are the Chad Mendez special meals. He's a MMA fighter and apparently a hunter too. But so this one is elk ragu pasta. It looks pretty good. I've had a couple of his other meals. He has a masher's meal, and then I forget what the other one was. Had venison in it. I think it was like a stew or something. But yeah, they're pretty good. The Peak Refuel has the chicken was it chicken peso pasta that is just off the chain amazing. It's hands down the best freeze-dried meal I've ever had. I've got one, but I'd lean more towards this one. For this trip, I've had the other one. I haven't had this one, so try something different. Alright, so it's the meal's done. The elk ragu pasta. Let's give it a try. So, see if you can see in there real quick. Yeah, so it's definitely meat and pasta and chili sauce. So it said they called for 1 1/3 cup of water, and then so I just did 1 1/2, and that was the right call. In fact, I probably could have done 1 3/4 or even 2 cups. I don't mind it being a little soupy. I'd rather be it soupy than like super thick. It makes it a little hard to eat. This is really good. So, peak refill. So when I do hike the PCT, mostly what I ate was Mountain House. I ate some Backpackers Pantry and I forget what the other one was. A couple different brands, but mostly just Mountain House. There wasn't a lot out. They were starting to come out. Different companies. You know, Packet Gourmet has been around for a while. But as far as like big box store, mass produced, freeze dried meals, we've come a long ways. Competition is a good thing. Makes people try harder. Well, I've been buying a few different brands over the past couple of years, trying them out. One of the other brands I've been trying since I've been here in Alaska called Stowaway Gourmet. I have one with me. My backup meal. This is bison beer, black bean chili. It's a popular one. So it may be lunch tomorrow. Those aren't really as filling as these peak refills. You see, these ones have 353 calories per serving. And 2 servings, so what is that, 706 calories for one thing. And then this one has 420 per serving, 2 servings, so this is 840. So this is quite a bit more calories, and then it's more food too, so it's more filling. And but I mean, it depends on how many calories you want to intake. They're both good. I would lean more towards that one for lunch. And something a little bit higher calories for dinner. But they're really good. Alright, I'm gonna eat. Good morning. So last night it got pretty cold. If I had to guess, I didn't have a thermometer, but it probably got high 20s, 28, 29, probably somewhere in there. But yeah, I slept pretty good. I was pretty warm in my sleeping bag. Sleeping bag I got the Western Mountaineering Megalight. And then I've got the Thermarest Uberlight. So both of those items are summer items. They're not really like shoulder season, which is what I would consider this to be. The sleeping bag is rated to like 30 degrees, but Western Mountaineering uses true temperature rating, and then I had it overstuffed, so it's really good to about 20 degrees. So I wasn't uncomfortable at all, but I was wearing my puffy jacket and base layers, so I was able to stay pretty warm. Yeah, I didn't get chilled at all. Just I opened my bag up to get something early, and then I was able to warm up pretty quick. I did get a little chilled, and then I warmed up pretty quick. And then This sleeping pad is definitely at the lower end of its limit. Like I wouldn't take this pad any colder than this temperature. So I looked at the map last night, and the other route home looks nice. But it's an extra 3 miles. So I'm gonna go back the way I came. It's 6 miles, and it took me, let's see, like I think about 7 hours to do that. So adding 2 more hours on top of that, or more, probably, yeah, 3 more hours on top of that. So I gotta get back. So I'm gonna go back the way I came, mostly because I'm short on time. But yeah, it was a beautiful hike yesterday. I'm excited to go back, with the exception of 2 water crossings. My shoes are wet, so I have dry socks on now. I slept in dry socks. Now I'm trying to decide, do I put wet socks back on? Because as soon as I put my feet into the boots, the socks are going to get wet. So if I put wet socks back on, then it'll just be wet, and I'll have a dry pair. I haven't decided what I'm going to do, because I don't know. Wet feet is terrible. I'm having flashbacks to this year where I had wet shoes for 3 weeks. But yeah, so that's what's going on. Alright, it's about 6:50 in the morning. Look how socked in it is. Just finished up breakfast. I'm getting ready to start packing my tent. It's completely wet. You see how low the cloud ceiling is. I mean, you can't even see the mountains over there. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna hike out the way I came, so that's that way. A little bit faster. I should be leaving here in the next 30 minutes or so. Check out this creek. Alright, I'm gonna get packed up. Alright, so start hiking out. I got out a little bit later. I got out like 7:40. I haven't looked at my watch, but it's probably close to 8 now. So I'm definitely going back to where I came. You can see behind me the fog's pretty thick. So I did keep dry socks on and put them in wet boots, which is nice initially. Now the socks are wet too. Not a big deal. If I was staying another night, I definitely would just put wet socks back on. But that 10 minutes where my socks were dry and my boots were wet was kind of nice, but once they soaked in the wetness from the boots, it was over. So today I'm gonna have to cross that creek twice. I already know that from yesterday. And so my boots will get wet. So on my socks, I do have one more pair of dry socks that I sleep in. But yeah, so if there's a situation where I need to put dry socks on, I have a pair. But anyways, so it definitely started a little cold. I still have my fleece on. As it warms up, I'm almost to that point. Or as I warm up. It's not getting any warmer out here. As I warm up, I will adjust and take some layers off. So my feet are finally starting to kind of warm up. They got cold in there with no wet shoes and socks, but they're warming up. So, I mean, anywhere you hike is like this, but the terrain's really, like, it looks the same, but like the vegetation just keeps changing on me. And so this, what I'm on here, is a lot of lichen and ground vegetation, and it's definitely got a pretty thick rock base. It's nice and firm. It feels really good. So when you get in, you can see a little bit more shrubs over there, lots of rocks, and straight ahead it kind of stays like this. So let's see if I can find some. So these little purple plants are, maybe not these ones, but I just walked over a whole bunch of them. They're blueberries. These might be, but I'm not real good with my vegetation. But so they're ground blueberries, so that, you know, this is snow covered most of the year, so the ground, and it's cold. It gets really cold up here, so it's kind of like a desert where things just don't grow very well. So all the vegetation is really low. You can see, like, nothing gets very high. Nothing gets higher than probably chest. Some of the shrubs get about chest high, and that's about it. And so that stuff is, you can tell when there's water or drainage around, because it starts getting real shrubby. But everywhere else, the ground is pretty low. Vegetation stays low. So like this area here that I'm stepping on, really thick in moss, so there are spots where the moss gets really, really thick and it's like really squishy and really hard to walk on. So I try to kind of stay, when I can, stay on ground that has a rock base. It's a little bit more stable, but it can't be too rocky, because like this stuff gets kind of unstable and twisted ankles, so you gotta be careful. But yeah, I haven't seen any wild animals yet, so I'm hoping that I can, but you never know. Yeah, it's always an encounter. So it's so random. So. Alright, so the visibility is real bad, and I'm at a spot where I almost made a pretty critical error, but I looked at the train and thought, you know, the way I think I want to go is probably not the way I want to go. So I came up through this drainage here, and last night when I came down, you know, it's just a straight shot, but coming up it's a little different. So I got two creeks, so one goes this way and one goes back over this way. Well, I wanted to double check, so I looked at the map, and sure enough, I was getting ready to go the wrong direction. That would have led to a pretty long delay, depending on how long it took me to figure it out. So I definitely want to go this way. That way leads up into the mountains, and this way leads back. But you can't really tell because the visibility is so low, and it kind of looks the same. But with route finding, you kind of got to constantly be aware of where you're at, so you don't take a wrong turn. So I'm using a method what's called handrails. So I'm handrailing three things. I'm handrailing this creek, so as long as I stay on this creek, I'm good. But this particular point, the creek changed, so I didn't I needed to know which one I was going to take. So I'm also hand railing these mountains. So I got a mountain on this side that you can't really see, mountain on this side. So when I look at my map, those 3 terrain features, as long as they line up, I'm going the right direction. So I can hike anywhere I want in this corridor. As long as those things match, I'm good. But when I come up to, and this is a really good habit for anything, when you come up to a point where you have a junction, whether it be a trail junction or a river junction, or you're coming out of one valley into another valley, check your map and make sure that you're going the right direction, which is what I almost didn't do. So it's a good reminder to, when you're route finding and navigating, like, you don't have signs and you don't have trails, so you have to constantly be making sure you're going the right direction. And for the most part, this hike's been really straightforward. Like, it's pretty obvious where I need to go, but yeah, that was one instant. I had one yesterday where I almost followed the wrong creek, but I did the same thing. I saw, I don't know, it's 2 creeks, so which one's mine? So I was figured out pretty quick. But yeah, other than that, just kind of going slow, and the terrain's super uneven, so I don't want to twist an ankle. That would make for a really slow hike out. So take it a little slow, save myself from making it even slower. So I talked about this yesterday. I don't know if you can really see it, but this is a trail, and probably mostly used by animals, but I'm pretty sure people use it too. Well, I'm using it. So it kind of just goes through here, and yesterday I followed the same type of trail. It peters out and goes different directions, but for the most part, I've been able to follow it the whole way. Alright, so earlier this morning I showed you what I thought was blueberry bushes. I wasn't entirely sure because I didn't see blueberries on them. You can see these are blueberry bushes. They have blueberries on them. So they're really low to the ground. And what I found earlier this morning was where you see the blueberry bushes, the ground is pretty firm right there. So it's a little bit easier to walk on. But yeah, just wanted to show you the blueberry bushes with actually blueberries on them. Alright, so quickly approaching the Galbraith Lake campground sign. You see our horse truck in the distance. It's a good hike. It's overnight. But I got to see so much awesome tundra at the base of the Brooks Range. Got to go into get to the Arctic National Park, spend the night there. Overall, it was a great success. I didn't go. Well, I went as far as I was kind of expecting to. Would have liked to have gone further, but you know, I didn't have a whole lot of time, so I'm just thankful to be able to do what I was able to do. But yeah, thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.